And we're back. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities podcast. My name is Jay, coming to you live. Ooh, we have such a good topic to talk about today. We're going to be talking about EVs, electric vehicles, for those of you that don't know what EVs are. And there's just been so much talk about them. And we are really going to dig into this and we're going to learn about a lot of stuff today in a fun way. Are EVs worth it? And we're going to cover topics that you want to know about right now.
Have you ever felt like you were taken for a ride while buying, selling, or repairing your car? Well, not anymore. I'm Jay, and this is the podcast to tell you what to watch out for, whether you are buying, selling, or repairing your car. With over 26 years of automotive experience, we are the Auto Authorities. This podcast is sponsored by iAutoAgent.com. We're real estate agents for cars.
Boom, booyah. Welcome back to the Auto Authorities podcast. My name is Jay, coming to you live. Before we talk about if EVs or electric vehicles as we know them are worth it, let's first of all thank our sponsor, iAutoAgent.com. That's I like integrity, autoagent.com. They are real estate agents for cars. When you want to sell your car and you don't want to go meet any strange people in strange places to show your car, you simply call iAutoAgent. They will market, list, and show your car at no cost to you, and even handle that sticky money transaction. And when you're ready to go buy your car, ooh, they will take care of everything for you. They'll find the car. They'll find the most reputable dealership or private owner. They'll definitely ensure its reliability, get you the best deal possible, and tee it up where you're just going in and picking up your vehicle. How about that? And if you're just joining us and you want to watch us live, you just go to the Facebook group page. It's called the Auto Authorities Podcast, and you click join group, and you can join our community, our worldwide community, might I say. And if you just want to watch us and you're not able to watch us live, just go to YouTube and go to the Auto Authorities YouTube page and click subscribe and the notifications button, and you'll know every single time one of our podcast hits. And if you just want to listen to us on the way to work, we have 19 different channels, one of them being iTunes, and so many other ones like Pandora and Google Podcasts and all of that. You can listen to us on your way to work. As we go today, please leave comments below. You guys have been great about leaving comments, and you could even go on to our theautoauthorities.com page. That's theautoauthorities.com page. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be answering any questions that you have about anything automotive related, but especially the EVs. It's going to be a fun topic to talk about today. So let's go get right into it right now. And the number one thing that is being debated right now is, are EVs or electric vehicles, are they better for the environment? So I went on EPA.gov. I've done tons of research educating myself on EVs. And here's what I came up with. When producing the EVs, and the batteries do emit pollution. And as long as so if you're looking at charging the cars, so you're at home, you're charging the cars, those also emit pollution. Now, this is where it gets a little sticky, but I'll share with you my thoughts. So first of all, if you use clean energy such as like water or wind, it emits less than dirty energy like coal or things like that. And the bottom line is, it is still better than gas doing the EVs. So once they're produced, EVs do not emit anywhere like the pollution like gas vehicles do. Now, I like to make things very simple to understand, and I'm going to share a few things that will will give us the framework of where we're going here. There's something called greenhouse gas emissions. And that definition is greenhouse gases are gases that trap heat in the Earth's atmosphere and make the planet warmer. They actually work like a blanket, keeping heat from the sun close to the Earth's surface. And some greenhouse gases are natural and necessary to keep on our planet, and it allows us to live. But too much of that can cause problems. And when people burn fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas for energy, it releases more greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. This can lead to climate change, which causes things like extreme weather, rising sea levels, and changes in the way plants and animals live. So, what does that all mean? Well, it just means that, yeah, it's not as good as it could be, but it's still better than gas. And that's really what it means, because over time, even though when they're going to get the materials to build these EVs, there's a lot of pollution that's like emitted into our atmosphere. But overall, by somebody driving an EV, it's going to be better over time than it would be if it was a gas vehicle. So hopefully that boringness, because I don't like things being boring, but I think it's important to share that with you, because it's been a huge debate. People are saying that the EVs are, uh, they're not as good for the environment as people say, and that is true to a certain extent. But at the end of the day, they're going to be better than gas. So I'd be curious to hear what your thoughts are. Please put your thoughts in the comments below, whether you're on Facebook, you're on YouTube, on our website, theautoauthorities.com. Just let me know what you think. I'd be curious, and what is your reasoning for that? It's a great debate to have, because this is going to be really our future. I hate to say it, and when we get into some of the topics we're going to talk about, you will definitely know what I'm saying. So let's talk about the pricing of EVs. So the truth is $58,725 was the average price of an EV vehicle in January of 23, according to Kelley Blue Book estimates. So we've been talking about, as interest rates go up, blah, 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 right? If you have $58,725, let's just say that is what it's going to be. The best interest rate that we can get, and I'm calculating it right now for you as we speak, the best interest rate we can get here in St. Louis at one of the credit unions is 6% over 5 years. That's assuming you have nothing down. You are going to pay over $1,000 a month for that vehicle. That is if you can get the best interest rates. So the question is they're really expensive right now. And we'll talk a little bit about more of the pricing, but we really have to take that into account. Is like, do I want to pay $1,000 a month for an EV vehicle? I don't know. And all vehicles across the board are going up in price. That's one of the reasons why a lot of people are going to use vehicles. I know at iAuto Agent right now, we have a Tesla Model 3, and we've already got somebody that wants to buy it, and I think it's been out there for a day. Yeah, people want these vehicles, but they don't want to pay the huge amounts of money. And the way we're pricing this vehicle is probably going to be close to $20,000 under the price of this vehicle, what it would be brand new. So very, very significant savings on that. So let's talk about a couple other things. Let's talk about what does it really cost you to charge your vehicle versus, say, a gas vehicle. And here are the facts. And I got this from a website called Energy Sage, but it's approximately 5 cents a mile to charge an EV and 14 cents a mile for a gas powered car. That's almost 3 times the cost of what to do a gas versus an EV. Now, I even found some vehicles, and I thought this was really, really interesting. So these are some vehicles that are available right now. And as we get into this, we're going to talk about the future of EVs, which ones can you get now. We're even going to talk about some of the tax credits here in a second, because that's where the stuff's going to get fun to talk about. Now, let's look at the Nissan Leaf. Well, the Nissan Leaf has been around for a long time now. It's getting better and better and better. It only costs $6.73 to fully charge that vehicle. Is that unbelievable? Let's talk about the Tesla Model 3. The Tesla Model 3 only costs $10.47 to fully charge. And then this Ford Mustang Mach-E, I pulled that one too, $11.67. Holy cow, that is such a huge savings. And we're going to talk about these tax credits here in a second, but that's amazing. Now, also, you have to take an account too, where are these charging stations? Well, California has so many of them. They're like something like 50,000 charging stations in California. In St. Louis, it's a smidgen of that. So depending on where you live, also, that can become a huge deterrent if you don't have a charging station next to you. And I just read yesterday that Waze, WAZE, it's owned by Google. It's like a Google Maps. I think it's owned by the same company, but you can actually see where the EVs are on the map. So this is becoming more mainstream. And if you've heard my previous podcast, I was extremely against EV vehicles. And after we talk about them today, you will see what my view is then. So let's talk about the future of EVs. We're going to talk about Tesla. We're going to talk about who is the largest player in the EV world right now, and who's going to make it and who's not going to make it. Well, we're going to do that here in a second. I want to make sure that you know, if you're just tuning in, we're talking about the truth about the EVs. Are they worth it? We're going to cover all the things from, are they better for the environment or are they not? We've already covered that. We've covered the pricing of EVs. And now we're going to start getting into the future of EVs. We're going to talk about the EVs that are available right now. And we're going to talk about the tax credits. And if you're just joining us, please leave your comments below on the Facebook group page, the Auto Authorities Podcast. You can even go on the Auto Authorities YouTube page, and you can go to theautoauthorities.com. That's theautoauthorities.com. That's our website. You can leave a message, and I'll tell you this, I will personally respond to it. Yes, you heard it correctly. So let's go into the future of EVs. Tesla is the biggest player out there right now. In the fourth quarter of 2022, they delivered 405,000 EVs. They have a $629 billion market cap. Market cap is the value of that company. Then you've got this other company in China called Li Auto, Li Auto, and their market cap is $23 billion. They're the second biggest player. Oh, and then you're probably wondering, what should we talk about as far as the domestic vehicles? Well, let me tell you something. Ford is sinking billions of dollars into the infrastructure of these electric vehicles. I will tell you, folks, this is not going to go away. And it's important for us to start embracing electric vehicles. I'm not saying you have to get rid of your gas powered vehicle, but you will see this is going to become more and more mainstream. Ford is actually predicting by the end of 2023, they will have 600,000 EVs produced. That is just amazing amounts of production. And they're going to have 2 million 3 years from now, 2026. That is impressive. So what does it mean? It means that everything's going to become more mainstream. And that's what I've been talking about a lot, because EVs haven't been mainstream. They don't have the charging stations. They don't have the capacity to go more than usually 300 miles. Now, some of them are at 500 miles now. They take a long time to charge. They are really expensive too. So, like, for example, if you have a Tesla and you get in an accident, it's going to take a long time to get that vehicle fixed. And you will also see higher insurance rates on EV vehicles because they're more expensive to fix when they break. So, they're becoming more mainstream, but they're still not quite there yet. So you're probably wondering what EVs are available right now. So I took it upon myself. I just simply did a 100-mile search. Now, we are worldwide, right? So this podcast goes everywhere. But I did a 100-mile search from St. Louis, Missouri, and then I found that there were 121 EVs available right now, brand new. And these are vehicles that are on the lots right now. And I wanted to share some of them that are. Number one is a Kia EV6 Wind all-wheel drive. This MSRP is $54,780. That's one of them. There's an Audi Q4 e-tron. And for whatever reason, I didn't write down the MSRP, but it's even more than that. The Mustang Mach-E is $50,498. The Hyundai Ioniq is $50,360. Volkswagen ID4 Pro S rear-wheel drive is $50,191, and a BMW i7, beautiful vehicle, but it also has a beautiful price of $132,000 and some change. So what does this all mean? Well, if you noticed a little bit of a pattern there, is these EVs are over $50,000. So be prepared to spend over $1,000 a month for these vehicles. Now, a little bit of a wild card here. Elon Musk has been working on an EV that he says that he is going to be bringing to the market for under $25,000. And if and when he does do that, that is going to be an absolute game changer. Because when you start getting into 25 grand, now you're talking about there's used vehicles, nice ones that are $25,000, or not so nice ones that are $25,000. That's going to be really interesting to see. And he's been planning this since 2020. So he's been working on it for 3 years. He is really ahead of the curve when it comes to Tesla. But it's really interesting when you look at the profit and loss statements for Tesla, they are actually losing money every year. it boggles my mind. The costs are exceeding what they're making as far as profit. So let's talk about tax incentives. This is going to be what we're going to end with because I think this is really, really awesome. And I think it's going to get better and better because our wonderful government wants us to buy EV vehicles. So when they want you to do something, they are going to start offering tax credits. Now, these are tax credits on used vehicles and new vehicles. And we're going to talk about the used vehicle tax credit first. So starting January 2023, and you can go to irs.gov and read this as well. But if you qualify, you buy a qualified used electric vehicle, it has to be from a dealership. It has to be for $25,000 or less. You may be eligible for this program. You will get a maximum credit of $4,000 deducted. I mean, and that is a straight deduction from your taxes. So if you are, say, a business owner and you owe, say, $4,000 for the year and you buy an EV vehicle, well, now you owe nothing. Now it has to be used, has to be from and then I have a whole list. So if you're interested in this and you want to learn more, and you can use our vehicle finder program. And our vehicle finder program for iAuto Agent, we will help you find that perfect vehicle. We'll let you know which vehicles qualify for this credit. Just reach out to us at iautoagent.com, and you can go to the vehicle finder program tab, and you can send us a message of what you're looking for. So then you've got the new credit, and this one is $7,500 that you can get for vehicles purchased from 2023 to 2032. Now, there is some current criteria here that you have to meet, and I'm going to let you know, and I'm literally reading this verbatim. You must buy it for your own use and not for resale. So you have to actually drive the vehicle. You can't just buy it and then resell it. It has to be used primarily in the US. Now, here's an interesting thing. If your adjusted gross income your adjusted gross income can't exceed $300,000 for married couples. If you do, they're not letting you have the credit. So they're not really helping the, how can I put this, wealthy people. $225,000 for heads of households. So if you make more than $225,000, you're not going to qualify for this. And then $150,000 for all other filing. So here's the other thing that is part of the criteria. It can't exceed $80,000 for vans, sport utility vehicles, and pickup trucks, and $55,000 for other vehicles. It's interesting because when you look at the price of these EVs, a lot of them are going to be above the 55,000, because when I quoted you those prices, those are not necessarily vehicles that have a lot of options on them. So when you start putting options, they get more expensive. So it's really interesting that Elon Musk just lowered his prices. And we talked about this a few podcasts ago, and I'm hoping that you were listening. But like on the Model 3, he lowered them 6%, and all the way to the Model X, 20% of a drop in MSRP. He's really, really trying to capture market share here. And this is going to be really interesting because some of these EVs are not going to make it, and some of them are going to make it. And right now our leader is Tesla. I will say this. he's got a lot of competition. And what these other manufacturers have done is they've basically taken Teslas, they've put them into these, into their, I don't know if you call them their experiment booth, and they've pulled these Teslas completely apart, and they figure out what is good and what is not so good. It'll be interesting. And there's a lot of recalls right now on EV vehicles as well. If you ever want to know those, feel free and reach out to the autoauthorities.com and send us a message, and we'll be happy to help you out with that. But I really hope that you found this valuable. We talked about really if the EVs are better for the environment. What is the pricing these EVs, like what does it really cost to drive one of these things compared to a gas motor? We talked about the future of EVs, like who's going to win this war. It's unbelievable. I can't think of a manufacturer that is not um, using EVs right now or producing EVs. So I really hope that you enjoyed it. Leave your comments below, leave your reviews for us. Really appreciate it. My name is Jay. I will see you on the next Auto Authorities podcast episode. Peace.